Sometimes I feel like people in the establishment forget that we have actual real problems in our lives, in our country. Not just the cost of living crisis, the energy crisis, what's going to happen in the winter, the NHS has scandals every single day, but we also have threat to our national security. The policing in Britain is a little bit problematic, double standards, chaotic. And now we have the Westminster bubble still being too busy gossiping about each other, and the journalists and the hacks in Westminster, all the papers and all the TV channels focusing on solely on what's going on with Boris Johnson's hair or Dominic Cummings' tweets. Now, it comes a point when you have to talk about it because they're talking about it to firstly shut it down and secondly show the true side rather than their own propaganda. Because depending on what the newspaper is, or they're left wing or right wing, or the channel or whatever you have, they are distracting you with this saga, the fight between Dominic Cummings and Boris Johnson. They're distracting you so that you don't ask questions about the real problems. But sometimes even when you get distracted, you listen to the stories and you're like, hang on, did this just happen? So when we discovered the last couple of days that Boris Johnson was always against lockdown and he was fighting against lockdown and he was just too weak to stop it, we kind of knew, but it was important for us to know the truth with evidence. This is also fascinating, right? Look at this chaos. Boris Johnson said, this is in 2021, Dominic Cummings is a total liar, well, total and utter liar. He never told me he had gone to Durham during lockdown. Oh, that thing again. I only discovered when the stories started to come out about Barnard Castle. I believe they're Mary Wakefield when she wrote a piece in Spec giving the impression that they had been in London the whole time. He later claimed that he had told me, but that my brain was so fogged by the virus that I didn't register. It's the state of our country. It's not true, I would have noted it. He never told me. I then tried my very best to defend him, and then Boris said, plus, the stuff about the Queen is a total fantasy, and Jack Doyle said, yep. Boris said, why is the BBC carrying this? It's the end of Laura Kuenssberg. Jack Doyle said, luckily people think he's a liar. Nobody cares. And then he said, she must realise that as well. I wonder if the penny has dropped at the BBC. I just wanted to show you this conversation that has become a big news headline now. The whole gossip about between Cummings and Boris and this and Hancock. First, because they genuinely think these are important issues. Secondly, they think we care. Thirdly, it is actually important. We don't care about the content, but we care about their characters being exposed, their personalities. It's important to remind people in this country that these are the serious politicians that some people look up to, and we eventually vote for. We have to vote for some of them, and we have voted for some of them, for them to govern us. It's important to remind ourselves that the political establishment are not that competent.